Hey stars, it's me, Shar the Star, and I'm back with some more stories, right? I want to continue to thank you guys for your support. Please, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'm getting thousands and thousands of views, but maybe a handful of comments. I want you guys to tell me what you guys want to talk about. Any way I can make my page better. I'm not concerned about what other people are doing on YouTube and things like that. I want to know how I can make my page better for you guys. Okay. Well, right now I'm drinking some, lemon ginger tea. Um, like I said, the weather has been weird here in New York and New Jersey, up and down, a lot of rain. But it is what it is. Let's get to this, okay? Well, I'm sure most of you guys are aware that Smokey Robinson and his wife are being sued by four um, how can I say, four housekeepers that worked in on their estate. All right. Um, I mean, Smokey is like 80, ain't no like. Smokey is 85 years old. Okay. So I don't know. And apparently, from what I've been getting, it's that Smokey Robinson, 85, and wife sued by four women as star accused of essaying staff after luring them to cameraless rooms. So I'm assuming that some of his property, some rooms are not does not have cameras in. I don't even know why any of his rooms really have cameras in it, but okay, whatever. Smokey. But they're saying that his wife, Frances Robinson, is aware of what has been going on for years and allegedly have paid off people before to not talk. Well, I don't know. I don't know if this has been going on for years, right? Why would you come back to work? When he essayed you the first time, okay, he might apologize and gave you a bonus, bought you a car, and stated it would never happen again, right? And so you come back a second time and it happens again. Who follows it now? That you just keep coming back and you know this man keeps essaying you. And guess what? Someone with this reputation could not lure me. Could I work for someone like this? Sure, I could, because I'm not going to let that happen to me, and I'm not going to put myself in that situation. Um, Guess what? Smokey Robinson is 85, right? You have people allegedly, four ex housekeepers are now suing, right? Now, apparently, allegedly, there have been some in the past that Smokey and Francis have paid off, allegedly, right? What's going on here? What's wrong with this picture? Now, of course, you're going to say, well, it's a job. Yeah, but you're being sexually assaulted. You're being SA'd. You're being taken advantage of. I don't care who he is. I don't care how bright and pretty his eyes are. Okay, Smokey. I saw a videotape of Smokey doing a show maybe a month or two ago, and I know most of y'all saw it. And the way that man was on that stage gyrating, and it wasn't a good gyrate. It was an old fogey, stogie, old gyrate. Okay. And I was like, what are you doing, Smokey? Ain't nobody looking at you like that no more. 40 years ago, you could have did that, and the women would have went. But I doubt if they throwing their panties and bras up on the stage at this point. And besides that, you 85, you could barely bend down and pick them up. However, as of 2024, allegedly, you've still been essaying your housekeepers. Okay, so um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know what to say about it. I think that it's why now is this coming out? If this has been going on for years, maybe because the housekeepers didn't know of one another, and now that they know one another, they can put their stories together and make it, make someone believe it or whatever. I'm not saying if it's true or not. I don't know, but I just know that Smokey I saw on stage gyrate in slow motion, like he was. It was the worst. Look at it. It's on YouTube. Pull up Smokey Robinson in concert in 2025. Baby, gagged. But whatever. We're going to hear a lot of these stories now that we're going into the week of Puffy's, his case. Well, they're doing jury has been selected from what I understand. They selected the jury in 2 days. So the case will start next week. So but we're going to hear more and more of older men. It's too bad. A lot of them we're going to hear are going to be no longer around to pay for what they've done. But I think we're going to hear a lot of this. And look, this is just the beginning. We are going to have to stay tuned and see what's going on with it. Okay. Now, I know that we had the Met Gala, right? And I never really if you notice, I never really talk about fashion on this channel. And I consider myself a fashion kid, meaning I'm into labels. I know labels. I've been wearing labels, but that's not who I am. I'm just known for that. Of one of those things. But I really would like to be known as a very nice, kind, generous person. That's what I would like to be remembered as, right? So because I don't really talk about fashion on this channel, a lot of my friends and family that know how I am about fashion, they're like, why aren't you talking about it? And I said, you know what? I don't know. It just doesn't seem to be my calling to set forth when my channel is just about fashion and stuff. And I have a lot of people I look at that whose channels are like that, but I want to do and talk about other things than that because it's materialistic. And I think that we've gotten so materialistic and everything is such in your face, and I like luxury as much as anybody else, but that's my private life. People that know me know me. This is something else. And I am going to do a whole segment about the internet not being a real place. Keep that in mind. The internet and social media, they aren't real places. You can't plant your feet 10 toes down on either the internet or social media. They're one and the same. And people can become anything they want. They can be anybody they want. We'll talk about that another show. I'm going to do a show just for that, right? Okay, so back to the Met Gala. So I didn't really talk about the Met Gala. So boom. But I was happy to find out that I looked at a lot of the looks and I liked them a lot. And some more than others. And I said, maybe I should, but right now I don't think my group y'all ready to pivot straight to something like that. I would throw a segment in every now and again if something is nice. But other than that, I'm really not beat for a lot of it, especially with the luxury, with the price gouging. And I said gouging, I did, allegedly, but it's gouging. I don't know. It's not a lot of things I like right now. I have what I need pretty much, I'm assuming, at this point. You know? Now, I'm not saying if something come through, because y'all heard me say about Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp is a bad man. I'm a bad man. I like a crossbody. I like a shopping bag. I like a tote. I like a bag. It is what it is. And I've always liked bags. So this ain't just because it's been trendy. Anybody that knows me know I've always liked bags. And that's why my collection is good, because I've been saving, and I have pieces from 25 years ago. I have Louis pieces that I had from 25 years ago. So back to the Met Gala, it was really nice to know that, well, you know what? I want to tell you some good facts about the Met Gala, just in case you didn't know, right? Now, the Met Gala is pretty much a fundraiser, mega, one of the biggest, right? So the cost of entry into the 2025 Met Gala for an individual, if you could buy a ticket, because you can't, but if you could buy a ticket, it will cost you $75,000, right? Tables for multiple guests start at $350,000. Often, couture powerhouses that sell high-end fashion will purchase tables and invite celebrities and stars as their guests. So some celebrities won't pay a dime to attend. They're being invited to a fashion house. So such as, like they said, couture powerhouses, Gucci might buy a table. I'm just speaking hypothetically. Louis Vuitton will buy 2 tables, and they'll invite celebrities that they're intertwined with or who pushes their product, and they make things for them. But it was really good to know that this year's fundraiser raised $31 million, which is the most that has ever been raised with this being, I'm gonna say with this being, that was just 31 million was the highest that's ever been raised, boom, right? However, the theme of this year was African American men, right? And tailoring and things of the sort. So I like some of the looks, but I was way more happier to find that when they focus on us as giving us as Black American people of just African American Blacks, this, when they put the theme on us and allowed us to showcase what we do, they raised the most money. I think last year raised 26 million. This year raised 31 million. Okay? So it's a proven point. We have that buying power. And it's time for us. I mean, the only thing I'm going to be honest with you about the theme, and I did like a lot of the looks, and some of the looks I really didn't care for. But I noticed, and it might be me, please tell me in my comments, everything kind of, not everything, I'll say 75% of things felt very pimpish to me, if that makes any sense. And I don't understand that because they did old fashioned. And what I don't understand is, isn't that something that we try to get away from looking like? It was always said that when we were in movies back in the 60s and the 70s, we were always either pimps, prostitutes, maids. So now when they give you a stance, and it was supposed to be about the tailoring, right? Some of the looks came off pimpish. They were canes and do-rags and the whole capes and the swag, and I get that. But where I wanted to see more tailored suits, I wanted to see the African American man at his best, really good, cleaned up really, really well, and a nice fitted tailored suit, whatever that would have been. So I kind of felt that was just my opinion, though, allegedly. I'm just saying, I just kind of felt like 75% of it was kind of pimpish. And I always thought that we were trying to get away from that and do other things. So instead of showing ourselves in that manner, and guess what? One of my favorite, I'm not going to tell you who that is, but one of my favorite looks of the night came off pimpish to me. I'm just saying, it's just how I felt. Tiana Taylor, she was one of my favorite looks of the night, though. That stood out. I love Tiana Taylor. But like I said, again, the whole thing with the do-rag and the hat and this, and it kind of came off pimpish, and I would have loved to just see her in a man's suit, because Tiana wears it. She does it. Yeah, but nevertheless, moving along, that's what I thought about the Met Gala. But I was actually happy to hear that with the theme being for Black fashion being on the center stage, that we raised the most money ever. That's interesting, Okay, so moving along. Well, my next story is, this is a good one. Okay, so how people go hiking? Well, these two brothers go hiking in different state parks, looking for precious stones, rocks, and sometimes diamonds. Depends on what they're looking for or where they're looking, right? Well, it says, man finds candy-like diamond while exploring Arkansas State Park, right? Chance of a lifetime. Now, this is the picture. I'm showing you a picture of it, this is what it looks like. And he said after when him and his brother, they're constantly looking because they like precious rocks and precious stones and different metals, and they find them at these state parks. And, they have found diamonds at parks, but this is the biggest diamond that has been found in any state park, I believe. And and you find it and you get to keep it, of course. I mean, you found it. I thought that there would be something like, oh, well, you found it on state property and you would, have to do such and such and such and such and such. Well, apparently not. Okay. So Great. Give me 1 second. Okay, so the Minnesota man unearthed precious diamond. Okay, precious diamond at Crater of Diamond State Park in Arkansas. An amateur rock collector recently hit the jackpot. Jackpot. What is going on? Let me drink me some tea. Something's going on. Hit the jackpot while exploring a state park in Arkansas. David D. Cook, which is his name, a Minnesota resident, unearthed a stunning 3.81 carat brown diamond at the Crater of Diamond State Park on April 21st. The diamond is the largest that have been found in the park in 2025 so far, according to Arkansas State Park. So he found this. He thought it was a candy wrapper. He said that um, he was on a family trip. Like I said, him and his brother likes to go hiking and looking for little gems or whatever. Mainly rocks, be honestly, because they call them amateur rock collectors, is what they do on their side. Um, and he said that he thought it was like a candy wrapper, like he explained to the type of candy, like one of the old candy wrappers, and they're like brown and gold. But he thought that was one, but the sun kept hitting it. So as they're walking, he sees it, but he looks at it and he can see it's brown. And he went and picked it up. And when he picked it up, he said he instantly knew it was a diamond. He didn't think it was a shiny rock. He didn't think of it. It says at press time, the government organization said that the Cook was on a family trip to the park when he found the gem. The Cook calmly walked over to where he had seen the candy wrapper, which turned out to be a diamond, picked it up and inspected it. And before calling his brother, he said he cleaned it up a little bit and he just wanted to be sure of what he had found. And real talk, he actually found a large 3.81 carat brown diamond. And he's saying he's not sure what he's going to do with it. Is he going to keep it, or if he's going to give up, sell it, keep it, or donate it? Sometimes that can definitely go into a museum. But again, how would he benefit from that? Okay, let's go to something else. Now, I know you guys are familiar with Larsa Pippen, right? She was married to Scottie Pippen, basketball great, such and such and such. And then you also know that she was dating in a long-term relationship with Marcus Jordan, Michael Jordan's son. And they even was on her reality show. I think it's at Miami Housewives, I think, or whatever, or something in Miami. I watched it, and he was on it. He was actually on it. Well, Larsa has done it again. Larsa is now dating Jeff Kobe, 31 years old. She's 50. Listen, Larsa, I don't know. I don't know what kind of magic you got going on where you got these young 30-year-olds thinking that they're in love with you and want to marry you. And guess what? No, there's no secret. She's been with, like I said, with Mr. Pippen, her husband for years, had kids. Then there was the big thing with her being with, and she's been with people since then. But the next big one was Marcus Jordan, and people were like trying to make it seem like, because Pippen and Jordan played together at one point or a time, so they're trying to say that she knew her and Pippen was together when Marcus was a kid. Because again, she's 50, they're in their 30s, right? Well, she did it again. She hit the jackpot. It says basketball player Jeff Kobe, 31, says he's getting married to Larsa Pippen, 50, just weeks after they debuted their romance. Okay, so again, I just want to get you a look of who we talking about. We know, there you go, Larsa Pippen. Okay, I'm sorry, Pippen, not Pippen. Wow. I'm not even aware who Jeff Kobe is. I'm not a big basketball fan, so whatever. But my question is, she has no shortage of suitors. And my thing is, they hear the same stories we hear. They're reading the same tabloids. They're watching the same reality show, and yet they are after this woman like. And apparently, I mean, African American is her thing. I don't know if she's dated. Allegedly, if she's dated in her race. or whatever her race is. I'm not even sure, but I know Larsa is an African American. So okay, so I wanted to let you know that. So after um after just dating and letting people know that they are together, right? Um, he's planning to propose. He said he's not ready to tell us when he's ready, but it's going to happen. He's in love and he's getting married. And I'm sure she's all for it. Like, I mean, yeah, she's from the Real Housewives of Miami. So yeah, I guess she's all for it. And like I said, Marcus Jordan was actually on the show with her for the season of last year. So now they're no longer together. And rumor has it, let's speak, because let's say this. There's a little tidbit I'm gonna give you. Allegedly, Marcus is now dating Eddie Murphy's ex-wife. And I believe she's older than Larsa. I don't know. Listen, you guys are saying all the time, 60s is the new 50s, 50s is the new 40s, 40s is the new 30s, and there's some truth in that. I really do, because I'm looking at people, I'm a man of a certain age, and I look at people that are older than me, and they're looking good. They're holding it down. And I think, it is what it is. I'm not afraid to say some of these 20-year-olds look 40, some of these 30-year-olds look 50. I know it's the hard life, the clubbing. They're making more money than we made in our generation. So now they have more access to things. So they're drinking, they're partying, they're living their best life. So yeah, the 20-year-olds look 40, and the 30-year-olds look 45 to 50. They really do. So again, Lawson struck it again. Lawson did it again. So let's wait and see what this happens. What happens with Lawson with this one? Okay, so now listen to this one. Now I'm going to put this up, right? And then I'm going to tell you the story. Instead of reading is a lot, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to be able to show you, right, who we're talking about. Now, I want to show you a picture, right? Okay. So it says New York family claims they cremated missing sister only to find out they grieved the wrong person. So this family from upstate New York, this is the sister that's telling the story for the family, right? This is the sister that they thought, I think I got it right, thought she went missing. They're from upstate. She went missing and she was missing. And then the police contacted them in 2024, February of 2024, to tell them that they found the remains of their sister, right? Um, I think it was in an abandoned building and in a lot or something like that. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this picture back up, but I just wanted you to have an idea of what I'm talking about. Okay, so they in turn never got to see the body because they said the police had said that the body was decaying. So, they couldn't. So, but okay, so they took their word for it. They even had the body that they said was their sister's cremated. Now, before the cremation, they said that the cause of death was an overdose. And the family was adamant that she didn't do drugs. But that couldn't be explained because she was gone at this point. Who knows? Sometimes people have a hard time and they turn to something that they've never done before, and it turns out that way. But again, she was missing. Remember, they have a missing persons report. She's missing. One day she just came up missing. Nobody saw her. And if I'm not mistaken, she has a child or two. Okay. So they cremate her. Their mom had passed before then, so they mixed the ashes together, the mom and the daughter's ashes. And now that it's very popular, what people are doing now, they're putting some ashes in a locket around their neck and stuff like that. Fine, no problem. Well, the story was I guess was on the news, and apparently I want to be clear with this. Because I believe it was Detroit. The sister who's telling the story for the family, she's a spokesperson for the family, Um, they said that Shanita Hopkinson is the sister, the one that's telling the story, right? And they're saying they received an anonymous, at first it was an anonymous contact stating to her family that they grieved a stranger. And then the person sent a message where they can contact them, and she sent them a picture of her sister. What they're saying is that the girl, apparently this had been in the news, right? Boom. Someone that saw the pictures, just like I just showed you the pictures. Well, apparently this happened in upstate New York, but now in Detroit, a woman must have heard the story, and the sister apparently volunteered at an event this woman was giving. The sister, and she compared the pictures and said that that was her. So she sent the pictures to the sister in upstate New York, and like, I think y'all grieved the wrong person. Your sister just volunteered at my event today. I don't know, guys. I'm just telling you the story, right? So they go to the police and they show the police the text message, the picture, and they want to know, is this true? Could this be possible that my sister is in Detroit? You know, she's been missing. No one's heard from her. No one's seen her. You called and told us over a year ago that you had found her remains, but because it had been deteriorating, we couldn't see it, and we cremated it. We've suffered. We've gone through. We're mourning. We're still mourning. And the police say to them that we have checked the dental records, which is what they told them, I believe, when they announced to them that their sister had been found with the OD, that they checked through dental records. Well, come to find out, that was a lie. They never checked for dental records. What the sister is saying is that there's so many missing people and things that this was just one of those cases that they wanted to get it off the books. They found someone, the body was unrecognizable. They didn't bother running any DNA test or dental records test. They just wanted to get it off the books. This is what the sister is saying, allegedly, that the police just wanted to get it off the books. So they kind of did an eeny, meeny, miny, mo, boom. Let's tell them that this is them. It fits. And they just wanted to get rid of a missing person, meaning they no longer wanted to have that on their workload or caseload. How crazy is that? Okay, fine. So now they need to remember they have the ashes. I don't know how or do they have the DNA, but what she said was the sister that's missing has a son. That's why I know she has kids. They don't really talk about them that much. So I think she has two, but I think the son, the aunt, which is the sister, took the nephew to get DNA because that's his mother. That would be his mother. And she's her sister. So they ran their DNA. That was not the person that they cremated, was not her sister. So her sister is alive in Detroit. However, the spin to the story is they've been trying to reach out to her in Detroit. And apparently, I think they have spoken, but she doesn't want to see them. Don't know. They're saying that they've been trying to, get with her. They're saying, yes, she is alive and well, and she's in Detroit. That's where this picture and everything was sent from. But she, at this point, doesn't want contact with her family. And maybe that would explain where she originally went missing. Maybe she ran away. It wasn't so much of a missing thing. So I don't know. But yeah, so they thought, so now the police department, the police department is trying to tell them that they're going to pay for everything, the DNA. Yeah, you would, because you're supposed to run that in the first place. They're like trying to be funny where, oh, we're going to pay for all the charges of this, that, and the third. And she's like, no, we're going to get a lawyer. Now, my question to anybody that's out there, would the sister that is alive in Detroit be the one to have to start this lawsuit, or could the family start the lawsuit without the sister because of the grief that they're going through? Because what they're saying, they want the city and the police officers to pay for pain and suffering, putting us through this whole ordeal by telling us, you found my sister in an abandoned building in a lot. She had um, she was no longer with us because of a drug overdose, which we already told you she didn't do drugs. Um, just a different thing. So they want to sue. They said they're checking to see if they can sue for pain and suffering. But I'm thinking, because the woman is alive, or can you sue on her behalf? Or does she have to do the lawsuit of, I don't know, guys. I really don't know. And I have a lot of lawyer friends. I don't know. I might have to check on it and get back. But I mean, let's see. I would like to know further if how this is going to go, and what's happening, and what's going to change, and why didn't the police do the dental test and the DNA test on the body that they found, even though it was decomposed? You still can get DNA and you still can get dental. The teeth still there. So I don't know why they did that, and they clearly lied because they told them that they did. So I don't know, guys. I'm gonna actually stick with this one a little bit, and we'll figure it out. Okay, I don't know. I don't know how many of you guys in New York heard about um, the man that was essayed on the. I'm trying to remember what name of the what number of train. I think it was the one train, allegedly. Don't take it for granted. I think it was the one train. But it says suspect in custody after man essayed on train in New York City. Right? So apparently one man essayed another man on the train in New York City, and now they believe that they have the suspect in custody. Okay. But let's get to the real questions. They said a suspect is in custody on Thursday afternoon after a man was essayed on a subway train in New York City. The suspect was identified as 36-year-old Mohammed Azim. He is charged with essaying, forcible touching. Yeah, they're saying that the incident happened on Saturday at 4 a.m. aboard a number one train in Greenwich Village. Authorities say the attacker made sexual remarks and demanded money from the 27-year-old victim before forcing him to perform sexual acts. The suspect then ran off and ran from the subway station. Okay, so clearly it ain't. They said the victim was taken to Northwell Greenwich Village Hospital and said to be in stable condition. Yeah, but my thing is, with the congestion pricing right here in New York, sorry. The weird thing is, they're pushing people to public transportation. They're trying to give you no other choice. They're raising the car fees, and every fee is a fee is a fee. I drove for the first time in New York City from the east side to the west side. I told you I went to Long Island. We went to Long Island this past weekend for an event. So it was the first time I actually drove in Manhattan since congestion pricing started. And it happened to be on a Sunday, and I got to drive from the east side to the west side to get to the Lincoln Tunnel. And it was so abandoned and so like not much going on. And yeah, so my thing is, they're constantly pushing people on the trains, which are not safe. We've seen it since the new year. Has been so many things. And right before the new year, they set someone on fire on the train. Like, what is going on? You want the people to get on the train and leave their cars at home, but the trains ain't safe. And I don't care if you say, oh, it happened at 4 o'clock in the morning. It should never happen. No one should be able to be essayed on a train, no matter what time of the day or the morning or night. Period. You're pushing us to make people take the trains. You're making it hard for people to drive and too expensive for people to drive, but yet you're not securing us. You're not making us feel safe. So, yeah, just wanted to let you know, they have a suspect in custody, and they believe that, yeah. I know you're tired of probably talking about Gene Hackman, right? But this is what I want to give me a second. I hope this will be my last report on Gene Hackman, but I find it so crazy that his family, his kids are leaving, are doing. Remember, I told you guys, I said he's still no one had picked up him or his wife's remains and to bury them. Remember, I reported this a few weeks ago. Over a month after their demise. So it said Gene Hackman children erase him with cryptic unmarked grave after $80 million inheritance snub. So because he didn't leave them in the will, clearly they were not a family like that. Because when I first found out that he had passed away, and I realized that he was like 95 years old, and I'm like, when they asked the children the last time, they said they had heard from him, they had spoke to him some weeks ago. That let me know right there. I was like, not so much, not so much, right? Okay, so give me 1 second. I want to tell you what's going on. Get rid of that. Okay. The esteemed actor who passed away at age 95, right, was buried in New Mexico next to his wife, Betsy. But no marker designates his grave, meaning there's no marker to say no grave, no headstone. And of course, when you're buried, you have to wait months and months, or almost a year sometimes, depending on where it is, to put a headstone. But nevertheless, they're doing it where people can't find it. There's no marker designating that like it's his grave. Okay. They said that the news is confirming that the children who were excluded from his will organized the understated service. So they apparently got the remains of both him and his wife, and I'm glad they did that because I kept thinking, even if they do it, watch they just take his remains and not take hers. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't their mom, and they were pretty much the kids and her. They have 3 kids. One of his kids was 45, one was 55, one was 65, and his wife was 65, even though he was 95. So I'm sure that they felt the kind of way with that. But yeah. So that's I just want to let you know. So their remains were picked up by the family, and they were buried in New Mexico where they lived, with no marker designating their graves. And allegedly, from what I'm understanding, they still may get the $80 million because the way it was stipulated in the will, from what I understand, allegedly, his money would go to her, right? And then she would do whatever with the money she chose to do. Well, as we know, she passed a week before him without him knowing. She passed away a week before him. So there was no place else for the money to go. So his living kin, which would be his kids, his children, may still get the money. You know what I mean? They may still get it because there's no place else for it to go. So, yeah. And for those of you that watch The Equalizer on CBS, seriously, I watched the show. This household loves The Equalizer with Queen Latifah. Well, she's been on for 5 seasons, and we had a show last week on the 4th. Well, come to find out, that was the last show that we were going to see of The Equalizer with Queen Latifah. It's been canceled, and that's it. But I'm going to be honest with you. I did watch last week's, and the way that they must have known something. It must not have been a complete shock that they were going to be canceled, but because they kind of tied it up into a really nice bow. The daughter was going to college. The aunt fell in love with the police captain, and she was moving in with him. Even Latifah she finally got with the other police officers that she was with, male, just in case. Yeah. And yeah. So you guys that love CBS The Equalizer, it's now only in reruns. It's canceled, but she got 5 years. So because of 5 seasons, I think she does get syndication, and I think that's great money. You know what I mean? And she was executive producer for it. It was a really good show. If you didn't catch up on it, you got 5 seasons to watch it and keep it. It was a really good show. And it showed her in her element too. The rough and tough and the riding the motorcycles and a lot of stuff. It's action packed. know that because she's, I believe, an ex-CIA agent who's retired, but now she's the Equalizer. And you guys know the Equalizer story because the Equalizer isn't a new character right now. You know what I mean? So because it's not a new character, you know the storyline of it all. Listen, I love you guys. I will be back. See you guys real soon. Like I said, I have a couple of stories I want to work on, individual stories, like not just a bunch of stories. I want to stick to one story just to see what you guys want since you're not telling me. I do not know. I have views. Look at my views. I have over 6,000 views on some of my videos. And I may have 5 comments. I'm getting comments from the same group of people. Thank you. I love them. Those are my group. But you guys are watching it, not really subscribing to it, but liking it. It's weird, guys. I don't know, but let me know. And I love you guys. I want you guys to be intentional, stay intentional, and check on your strong friends. And I will see you guys soon. One.